again, and welcome to Exotic Gardening UK Yorkshire Kris Weekly. We're back in the greenhouse for this week's episode because we're going to be taking a look at the cuttings that we did last week and seeing how they've developed, and we're also going to be bringing more plants into the greenhouse ready for overwintering. So these are the cuttings I took 2 weeks ago, and you can see they've perked up a lot now and look nice and healthy. And I'm hoping if I just pick them up, you can see they all look pretty good. Important to take off any dead parts or dead leaves, like there's one there that's not quite established. And I should start getting roots out the bottom in a week or two as well. So they're very healthy cuttings, nice and small and compact. I'll try to give them good light over winter so they don't get too leggy. And so they're doing well in here. And I do have a new plant as well. This is another Insulating. This is called Party Time, and this has got the green and pink variegation, and these came as little cuttings, so they've established well over this week. It's also important, if you've got a propagator or greenhouse, is take away any dead material, especially in autumn when it gets cooler and your humidity is high. So this stalk here, this dead leaf of the colocasia, I will cut this off, otherwise it'll get botrytis, sort of furry mould. And these are the cuttings we took in last week's episode, and as you can see, most of these are looking fine. A few need a bit more water, I think, and hopefully they'll pull through as well while they get some roots down, and then they'll be happy cuttings over winter in this heated propagator. Now here we have the cuttings that we put in water, and this is 2 weeks ago now. And so if we just take them here, I've got the various Pectranthus and Insulating in here. If I just pull one out, fingers crossed, we have some roots like that. So this one is actually rooted a bit further up, so I'll cut the bottom off and plant it just where the roots start, and I'll put it into these pots. And we've got a mixture of the free draining compost with a bit of perlite for added aeration. Let's take out one of the Insulating, see if that's rooted. Yeah, we can see we've got plenty of roots on there. Again, they've grown a bit higher up, so I'll snip the bottom off, and then we'll just try a different type. This is Pectranthus argentus. And again, hopefully, in this case, just got a few roots developing, so I'll cut off these lower parts just where the roots are starting, and you can see some others have got far more roots. So I'll put 1 or maybe 2 cuttings per pot of the different types, and then these will go on the windowsill or in the heated propagator. So let's just take one for example. This one here, I'll just take off these leaves I must have missed last time. As you can see now, we've got plenty of nice fresh roots here. And because it's been in water, it's been able to support all these leaves. But when we put it into the pot, it probably can't support all this leaf. So again, I'll just take off most of these side bigger leaf. So there's less water loss now. And then just place that in here, get some of the more compost with perlite, put that around. And then the important thing is, because this has been in water to root, this needs to be absolutely soaking, so I'll give this a really good water and let that slowly dry out whilst being in the warmth, and that will root away nicely. So there we have them potted up and well watered, ready to go into the propagator. And I did decide to actually put 3 or 4 cuttings in each pot just so I have enough room in the propagator. And if you do have space, obviously you can space them out more and then they'll grow bigger and better, but you don't want them to grow too much over winter. You just want to keep them alive, and then they can grow nice and big when you plant them out next year in the garden. Now, to conserve heat in winter in a greenhouse, it's very good to actually insulate it, and one of the most popular ways of doing that is with bubble wrap. Here in the garage greenhouse conversion, I've got polycarbonate on the roof and I've got double glazed windows both sides. They don't need the extra insulation, but I do have a single pane glass window here, so I want to insulate this with bubble wrap. So what I've done is just pinned it up here. I made it so it's measured to exactly the right size, but it only goes in so big a width. So I've got a little section here, so I'm going to put this piece over here and pin this on with drawing pins, and then where it overlaps I'll just clip that together with some crocodile clips. And the stuff you want to use is this bubble wrap that you get not just from packaging store, although you can use that to push to get the proper greenhouse stuff. The actual bubbles are basically within it, so you've got two flat sides rather than one 3D side and one flat side. And it's also UV stable, so it should last a few years longer. So I'm going to insulate this window, and then that's the insulation done in this greenhouse. Obviously you've got a big greenhouse, you're going to have a lot more bubble wrap that you need to use, and you can use those little plastic clips that go in the frames of aluminium greenhouses, or wooden ones, you can just pin them on. I'm just going to finish this now, and then that's done. So it's getting dark now, so I've had to put a light on so you can see what I'm looking at here. And these are my succulent plants that I've brought in to keep them dry over winter. And most of these aren't hardy to stay out, some are, but I thought I'd just bring them all in. So I've got a mixture of agaves, some select forms like striata there. I've got some aloes here as well. And the mixture will just stay on this bench over winter. Nothing will be watered at all, because these are, to be honest, these are completely soaking through with all the rain we've had. So these will not need watering probably till next April, maybe March if it's warm over winter. And they'll stay in decent light, and these will be fine on these benches. But I will rearrange my greenhouse in time once I've sort of properly put shelving up and workspace as well. So these don't need a lot of light, but for now they benefit from the light as well as the warmth of the greenhouse. Now that's nearly it for this week's edition of Exotic Gardening UK. You're probably thinking, well, it's late October now, where are all my inset bananas and my other tender plants? And basically I've not had time to bring them in yet. I've looked at the weather forecast for the next week or so and it looks fine. I mean, they're not growing particularly fast outside at this time of year, but they're not dying because there's no frost on the horizon yet, thankfully in my location. But when we get to the last week of October, the October half term, that is when I've got a few days off and we'll have the big push to get everything into the greenhouse for winter. So next week, or the week after, I'll be digging up all the unset Hanibet bananas. I'll be digging up the Musa sycamensis, because I don't leave that out as well. And any other tender plants that I've forgotten about, I will dig up and bring into this greenhouse, and I'll do a greenhouse tour. So thanks for watching this edition of Exotic Gardening UK. Join me next week, where I'll definitely be doing a lot more in the garden.